country. So it was expected that the voices of the African people, the voices of the African youths, the marginalized communities will be echoed in that particular COP, whereby the global leaders will respect our demands. So these are some of the demands we took during the COP. The number one, we advocate for historical accountability from the major emitters. The major emitters like that, China, India, USA, they are the giant emitters. So we want them to account for this the emission they are making. Then the second one, we said they should prioritize loss and damage mechanism. Loss and damage is a term from the United Nations because when you plant your crops in Africa, for example, then flood water will come and wash away your crops, leaving you into food insecurity. So we said that they should prioritize the mechanism of loss and damage. They should give us that money for us to adapt and mitigate. Then the third one is unity among the least developed countries. If you look at it, most of the countries that we are not developed, like we are the least developed, there is no harmony, there is no unity. If you look at our NDCs, you will see Nigeria going one way, and you also see Ghana going the other way around, or Chad going the other way around. So we also demand for unity among these global leaders, especially the least developed countries. Then the fourth one is we should center the vulnerable population in decision making. We, the youths, we are vulnerable. The old age are also vulnerable. The women are also vulnerable. So we also demand that these should be considered when making decisions because we are the one vulnerable. All the calamities are befalling on us. So we also demand that whenever they are making decisions, we should be given a seat at the table for us to also make our own contribution, bring us our demands, our problems, and the solution to the problem. Then the fifth one is to promote African leadership in climate solution. African leadership should be what promoted in climate solution because we are the indigenous people and we also have the local knowledge. We also have the knowledge. When we are part of the solution, bringing the indigenous knowledge together with the more advanced scientific knowledge, climate science, so the solution will also benefit us. And the last one is to ensure developed nations fulfill their fair share. When they said they put the money, we demand that they should meet up to this particular demand, their pledge, because it is a pledge, it is yet to materialize. So at the end of this COP, they come up with a mechanism of giving us the money, and they promise that the money will reach each and every country, of which we are yet to see this particular scenario. So this is a group of climate justice activists from around the world during COP27, whereby we are advocating for the loss and damage finances now because we're tired of making noise, we give you this, we give you that. At the end, we end up having nothing. I think this is where we come to the end of climate justice and we go into sustainable development goals. Sustainable development goals are the goals otherwise known as the global goals. It's also by the end of the Millennium Development Goals, then in 2015, the global leaders come at the United Nations headquarters. 194 countries signed and ratified that these are the problems. Our problems are 17. The 17 problems, then they bring them and integrate them into goals and come up with a target, a universal target on actions on how to curtail these particular problems. Why, when addressing these 17 development goals, it will bring an end to poverty, it will protect the climate, and it will ensure peace and prosperity among nations. So the next slide will show us what are the 17 sustainable development goals are, starting from no poverty to the 17th one, which is partnership among the goal. The subsequent slides will go through each and every goal and see how we as individuals, we as the youth will contribute to our own quota in addressing this particular problem. Goal number one is talking of no poverty. Yeah, it's among nations that are having high rate of poverty. We're living below poverty line. a common man, average man, spend less than $100 in a month, because if you look at the minimum wage, it's 70,000, and look at what is a dollar to naira now. So you see, $100, it's far ahead of what we call the minimum wage. And if you look at it, not everyone is earning a minimum wage, because not everyone is into a government job. So this particular picture was snapped in a particular village. I think it's called Shanunu in Kano State, whereby a young lady that should be in school, it's busy selling akara in the market square. And this is exposing her to so many social biases. If you look at the people that are surrounding her, are people of their age, above her age. So there's every tendency that this girl might be exposed to so many other social vices, because there's no money at hand and she needs to bring something back home. So this is basically a child labor. So the goal number one is saying that by the end of 2030, there should be no poverty in all part of the world. Then goal 20, go 2 is talking of zero hunger. And this zero hunger and achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. The agricultural practices we are into, it's not sustainable. So this particular goal is saying by 2030, it will double our food production and also promote sustainable agriculture. The next slide. Goal number 3 is good health and well-being. It's aim at ensuring healthy lives, promoting well-being for all at all age. In Nigeria, for example, there is high maternal mortality rate. So they are saying that by the end of 2030, the cases of whereby a woman while giving birth would die, a case of while bringing a child into the world would die, will reduce drastically. If you go to the developed nations, you will see that they will say, for you to die, definitely you will be within the age category, maybe 50 above. But in our own case, reverse is the case. The ladies die while giving birth, our kids will die of hunger and malnutrition, and these frequent accidents, road accidents that end up killing people. Look at road from Kaduna to Abuja. Every day there is accidents, and go to our hospitals, you see they're in bad shape. So this particular goal is aimed at ensuring healthy lives and promote well-being. And the goal number 4, it's quality education. It says by 2030, they should ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. For every nation to thrive, they should ensure that there is education for all. Our girls need to go to school. They should live. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be like in the street hawking. They should be in school. Most of our girls, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, you will see them roaming about and this early marriage. So this particular goal is promoting education for all of them. Uh, so sorry for the interruption. Someone came in. And next slide, please. Goal number 5. It's talk out gender equality. So gender equality. It's talking of this goal is talking about by 2030, we have to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Our girls need to be empowered. They should be given a chance to thrive just as women are. If you look at the parliaments, the number of men in the parliaments, it's increasing day by day, while that of the women are also what decreasing. If you go to, there's so many harassment for you to get a job, for you to do so many. Look at what is happening between the Senate president and Natasha. So they see it as what gender inequality. So all of them, they should be have equal chances to try to see the girls should be empowered. The women should also be empowered because they are the custodian of the environment. We the men will end up in the cities looking for a greener pasture, and in the long way in Africa, the tradition is we the men die and leave our women. So the women should be what empowered for them to take care of the family, for them to raise our kids well. Next slide, please. Then goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. Almost 70% of the access to water in the rural areas in Nigeria, it's not hygiene. So by 2030, this particular goal, the term it as every local community or every part of the world should have access to clean and hygienic water. If you look at this slide, you will see there are little girls. These girls should be in school, but they end up preaching water. And according to UNICEF, sorry, they said every day kids spend almost 6 hours trekking from one village to another to get access to clean and hygiene water for the basic use. And these hours they should be spending it in school reading their books. Next slide, please. So goals it's ensure access to affordable and reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all by 2030, because we are still relying on the fossil fuels. That is why every day you see us looking at uh, cut deforestation, cutting down the trees, because they keep what they keep conflicting with one another. They will say, "Don't go to the bush, don't cut down the trees." But if you look at the cost of living, it's high. Affordable gases, we don't have it. Affordable alternative of sources, we don't have them. So that is why we end up cutting down the bush. So they said by 2030, each and every villages they should have access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, modern energy. That's the renewable energies. They are expecting everywhere to have solar energies and hydroelectric powers. Next slide, please. Then goal number 8, that's decent work and economic growth. This goal says by 20, it's aimed at promoting that the people, the rural communities, they end up hawking in the road or at the market square. But if you look at their capital, it's not up to 5,000. So even if every day they will sell that particular maybe mango they are selling or all those petty they're selling, you have, if they get 5,000, that particular 5,000 would not hold the particular household. So they should be a sustained and inclusive society. Hello, baby, are you here?
Yes, yes. I think we are back now.
At least. Hello,
We can
I
hear
can
you
hear you,
now.
sir.
hello, are you with me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
I pray it's not my network.
Yeah, every
Hello,
have to log in and log out. We can hear you, but I think your network is kind of glitchy.
hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me then. Then goal number 9, if we're all together, it's talk of build resilient infrastructure which promotes inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovative. This particular goal says by 2030, it will raise industry's share of employment and GDP for about states or nation to support the team and youths. And it also supports domestic technology, development, research, and innovative in developing countries. And by 2030, the increase in access to information and communication technologies to provide access to internet. Because it says not every part of Nigeria would having access to communication and technology. And it also facilitates sustainable and resilient infrastructures development in developing countries and small island developing states. This is your goal number 9. Then goal number 10, it aims to reduce inequality. Goal number 10 is talking about how to reduce inequalities within and among countries. By 2030, it aims to achieve income growth of the bottom 40% of the population. We at the bottom, those at the bottom of 40%, their sustained income will increase by the year 2030. And it also aim at eliminating discrimination. Also aim by 2030 to reduce less than 3% of transaction cost for marginal remittance. And use of special and different treatment developing countries. So this particular goal is targeting us, the less developed countries, that by 2030 we'll be having a special uh, treatment. Next slide. The next slide is goal 11, which is sustainable cities and communities, whereby we are expected to have a green resilient cities, whereby our buildings should be energy efficient. We will be having buildings that will have a carbon sequestration just like those in whereby having a, and this rooftop garden will provide people with the food to eat, and they also capture carbon and do carbon planning, whereby the green space, and they should be accessible. And when we have a sustainable city, then will be reduced to a minimum. Then the next slide is for 12, that's responsible consumption product. This particular goal will give priority to no waste, reduce, reuse, and recycle, whereby they will prioritize local food. They will come up with policies just like those in the United Kingdom, whereby they just don't ban the use of single plastic or polythene bags. Rather, they encourage people to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Whenever you're going to shopping in the developing countries, you are expected to go with your own bag, because maybe you're buying something that will cost you 50 US dollars in a shopping mall, and when you're going your bag to package it, they'll ask you if you need a bag from them. If you said yes, you want a bag from them, they will issue you that bag, and that particular polythene bag that they will give you to package something you bought from them, it will cost you more than that particular 5 US dollars. Probably it will cost you 10 US dollars. So you see, by doing that, they are what introducing policies of reducing, reusing, and recycling. But for us in Nigeria, you market, you want to buy maybe onions, 15 naira onions, you might end up collecting two bags, two polythene, end up throwing them in, and back to the environment, the society. Then for next slide, that's climate action. And this climate action, we are giving more emphasis to climate action. The goal is, and the aim is to mobilize 100 billion US dollars annually to address the of developing countries and both adapt and mitigate to climate change and invest in low carbon uh, issues. Particular it's not just about climate trees. We all know climate has to do with our own action, whereby we cut down trees, we emit gases, we throw the polythene bags anyhow. So this particular goal, it says by 2030, they should be the what do you call it? The global warming will reduce drastically. That is when even the Paris Agreement is expected to be reached by 2015, by 2030, sorry. So it is saying that we should change our mindset. We should go green. How do we go green? Maybe we are in a room or in a classroom whereby we don't need the electric appliance, we don't need the lights on. Plastic daylight, windows are exposed, are bringing out the daylight, but we end up leaving our lights on. So this is talking of how we change our lives in the room. You switch up. You go to places like Niger Republic automatically by 6 8 all all lights go up automatically by themselves, and end up putting our sockets, putting our phones, and we are not back. We will markets with polythene bags. The distribution of bags uh, make so much and end up depleting the ocean, whereby end up having global warming, climate change, and this climate change will lead to all those hazards that befall the global south. So this particular goal that by the end of 2030, we are the global gas emission to less than 1.5 degrees Celsius. But the questions are we there? Can we achieve this particular? Can we achieve this? Uh, because we end up buying clothes. None of us to end up. None of us want to collect clothes of maybe your brothers and sisters and use them. We all want to look flashy. Everyone wants to own a car, and having a car, we end up emitting gases. So the best way to do is what to walk where necessary, to use bicycles where necessary, and to use public transportation. But this is 2025, that uh, past approaching. So do we have electric buses in Nigeria? Do we have them? That's another question for another day. Next slide, please. And goal 14 is talking of life through water. By 2030, this goal aims to conserve and sustainably use the ocean, the sea, and the marine resources for sustainable development. For those of us that are maybe from the coastal cities, maybe those that are living from Lagos, those beaches, water bodies that are very close to us. Maybe we go there on the weekends, maybe during Christmas, public holidays, and we end up buying uh, plastic bottles, or maybe water and drinks, and we end up throwing them all the water bodies, and the ocean currents will come and wash away everything. The polythene bags, the bottles will end up into water, and those particular bottles they end up harming the water resources. And these water resources, when you harm them, you harm the environment. And this is also going back to goal 13, because when you harm the marine environment, you're having you're harming what the biodiversity, and in the long run, we end up having zoonotic diseases. We end up having so many calamities from the northern part of the country that we don't have access to this ocean, and throwing leaving our water, the gutters, and living when it is blocked, and we end up having flooding within urban and the rural areas. So this will go back to next slide is then goal 15. Look at see this particular is where We are in of the industries that are making the gas because they need to produce for development. They produce food for you. They produce everything, the basic things we need. They produce them. This is where deforestation this is where we cut down the trees, and this where when you cut down the trees, there will be what desertification. Desertification will fall on our fertile land, leaving us within fertile land, and you will end up having productivity, which will lead to food insecurity. So the life on earth, we should take it a lot more seriously. We should act on illegal poaching. We should protect the forest resources. We should protect the environment because we protect the environment, we will end up bringing it back to our own self because we'll be having all those environmental hazards back to us. That is why we said if you provide the society or the world has an enabling environment, then everything will be in place. That is why goal 13 is among the best goal that when we give it process, then man or humanity will be protected. Next slide. The next slide is goal 16. That's the second to the last, which is talking of peace, justice, and strong institution. The goal aims to promote peaceful and inclusive society, provide access to justice for all, and build effective accountability and inclusive institutions all levels. This will reduce all forms of violence that are related to death rates every day. It will end abuse. It will end exploitation. It will end child trafficking and all forms of violences against the children. By 2030, we advocate or we anticipate the reduction of illicit financial and armed flows in and out of the country. So this is all about goal 16. Then the next slide is that goal 17. Goal 17 is talking of partnership for the goals. All these goals, if you look at them from goal number one, no poverty, to this particular goal, they are all linked together. They are what interrelated. If you what like let me put it this way: if you neglect one, you are creating a huge vacuum whereby we'll be having a lot of issues. So all the goals should be what should be there should be partnership within them. All industries, all government agencies, everyone, including us in our houses, we need to hold on to this particular global goals, work hand in hand together with them. And I will also urge all of you by this training, like to look at all which like contribute, which one you think fall maybe within your expertise, maybe which drive desire, because we all need to give back to the society. How do we do that? You don't be a millionaire, you don't need to contribute your own capital. Pointing fingers at our leaders from our own little part. What do we do? Maybe you can be advocating parts for the girls. Maybe you can advocate for so many things. Just look at the goals. Maybe you can say goal 13, go to schools, plant trees together with the children, give them this is the essence of so many things like this. I started this and look at all. So create awareness, impact the knowledge on others. This is partnership for the goals. When we do them, then together we can achieve the goals. Together we provide a sustainable future for our unborn children. I think this is where we come to the end of sustainable development goals. I will be going into the policy, the next and the last segment of our presentation. Maybe I think we should hold it, maybe not to ask question, maybe we should leave it towards the end of the particular session. We go to the other part of climate change, we all know what climate change is. Climate change, let me use layman, maybe definition. It is a change of what is happening to the environment or to the climate. Abnormal change. Maybe rain used to start early April and end August or November or so. So when the rainfall comes late or earlier than normal, and it also maybe stopped earlier or long change. When we receive a heavy downfall that is not normal, change, we receive extreme climate change. So any abnormal that is related to climate, any abnormality in the climate is what we call the climate change. What causes this climate change? Excuse me, please. The, what causes this climate change? The causes of climate change, for me, are human activities, which are the main drivers primarily due to like the coal, oil, and gas. So this what brings about the climate change. And if you look at the second slide, talking of what is happening, you see how deforestation is happening. You see how industrial activities are taking place, and you see how drought is. And this particular drought would leads to low agricultural productivity, and the other one is telling us how flood water is washing away the farmlands, leaving us with nothing. And fifth is desertification, whereby a greener land is turning into a desert. If you look at it, you see a greener spot and a brown spot, whereby desert is encroaching. And it will also leads to what? Migration. If you look at the last slide, the last picture is showing how people are migrating from their own environment to another. All these are the environmental hazards that happens as a result of climate change. Next slide, please. All the aforementioned calamities are affecting Nigeria as a nation, and in an effort by the government to curtail these particular problems, they come up with numerous policies. The first one is that then we have the climate change programs, we have the national contributions, which these NDCs are expected from each and every nation. This is a problem, and this is what we are doing in order to control this particular problem. And they are expected to submit the NDCs at the COP of every year. Then we have the energy transition plans, which is under the office of the Vice President. Then we have the national plan framework. So if you look at all these policies, they look, go to the next slide, they look all alike, and they request how developing countries will come up with a carbon tax or a carbon trading system. Like Nigeria said, in Nigeria, we are emitting little gases, but if you look at little greenhouse gases, but China are bringing, they are the giant polluters and emitters. So all what carbon trading is talking about, we in Nigeria given a particular percentage, just the same as China, 100%, but Nigeria, we are just emitting, let's say, 30%. So the remaining will be selling it to China, and not in form of collecting money, but for them to come to Nigeria and to provide with a clean energy mechanism, for them to provide us with maybe electric bus, for them to provide us with technical assistance, technical know-how. So this is what the carbon trading is all about. Then the next slide, please. These are the nationally determined contribution, as I talked earlier, developed in 20 towards rectifying the Paris. 5% they award conditional, 2% they are unconditional, the emission of gases. Then we are to end gas flaring by 30. That common in Nigeria. Then the off-grid solar we had to upgrade our solar emission, no, solar generation to 13 uh, gigawatts. Even the electric this thing we're using, what are the megawatts we're having daily? So yeah, I think this also is something Nigeria can achieve in from here to 2030. Then we said 30% of energy will be efficient by the year 2030. Then we had to improve electricity grid. You look at it, I think there's no month that the grid will not collapse. Then they said by 2030 we will move from car to buses. As I mentioned earlier, we all want to own a car, and this car come up with emission of gases. We don't want to engage into public transportation, but it's not our fault because we don't have a better or a good transport network in Nigeria. But they said by 2030 we are transitioning from car to buses, and these buses they are expected to be what electric. Are we there? I don't think we're there. Then the other one is by 2030, all our climate agricultural practices will be what climate smart agriculture. Then there should be reforestation, which during President Muhammadu Buhari, I think there's a pledge whereby each and every year Nigeria will be planting trees. If I'm not mistaken, they said I think 100 million each and every year trees will be what planted all over the country. It started, I think, it lasted for I think only 1 year. I think the first year they set the motion. That's the only year Nigerians witnessed that particular tree planted. Next slide, please. The Nationally Adaptation Plan framework, Nigeria has developed this particular framework in 2020, which aims to restore and protect 380,000 hectares of forest and mangroves by 2030 to reduce approximately 20% of greenhouse gases, which I don't think we're yet there. Then we have the revised National Climate Change Policy of the 2021, and this act established what we call the National Council of Climate Change, which is under the able leadership of Barrister Barrister Njuka, which has the power to make policies and decisions on all matters concerning climate change in Nigeria, and who also articulates and formulated our NDCs, and who also is responsible for going to the COP each and every year. And I can see in the media they also asked the United Nations for Nigeria to host the COP 30 in the years to come. Then I think the last part of the presentation is the energy transition plan. This energy transition plan, it's under the office of the Vice President. It started during the Shubaju, whereby it's aimed to achieve net zero emission by 2060 through its energy transition plan, the deployment of decentralized renewable energy systems, which are not in good shape as at now, and expansion of transmission and distribution of network, the electric network, and the attainment of gigawatt, that's 42,000 megawatts generation capability of light by 2030. This is also not going to see the day of the light. I'm sorry, I'm saying this because I am also an activist, and I am looking at the literatures. I'm looking at what is at hand, and I'm projecting future scenarios from what we are seeing. All these policies in Nigeria revisit because they are all policies on paper, not on ground. Then they also said that there should be elimination of use of diesels and petrol generators. That's what they said. So this one, in a way, we can say it's kind of something that we can achieve, because if you look at it, our fuel or petrol, the prices keep rising. So if it's rising, then most of us are not using our cars. We are not like owning the generators, so they can. And the last part of it is challenges in implementing climate adaptation policies. What are the challenges Nigeria is person in implementing these climate adaptation policies. The first one is what we said: we rely solely on oil and gas. When we rely solely on oil and gas, so definitely there is no how we can see the sector, because the get our money, the country get the money, it's from the oil sector. So this is one of the challenges. Then the second one is what? For governance and stakeholder engagement. Is what we call corruption, and our leaders, they are poorly governing the part of the nation. Then also economic constraint. We don't have the economic capability, and lack of adaptation fund. This fund is not coming from the global notes. We're not receiving money from them. We said it shouldn't come as a loan. It should come as what? As a fund. It should come as a grant, because this is our right, not a privilege. And one is which we will all bear witness is corruption. Corruption is killing us in all the sectors. Have lack We lack access to financial resources, the credit, insurance, and also advisory over the harmony between government policies. As I said earlier, the government policies, they keep completing one another. They said they cut down the trees, but there are no alternative sources of energy. Then, in conclusion, Nigeria has established extensive climate objectives, yet we encounter difficulties in their execution due to the dependency on fossil fuels. As I mentioned earlier, we depend on the fossil fuels. We are the giant of oil. So how do you expect us to implement this policy? Because all the policies are oil sector. So this is one of the challenges having in Nigeria. So I think this is where we come to the end of this presentation. And I thank each and every one of you for listening. And I also congratulate all of you for milestone. And I urge all of you, while graduating from this cohort, you find a goal whereby you also make your own quota in this particular program, country, and the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a lovely presentation out there. I mean, this was a whole lot from climate policy, SDGs. Uh, that was more. Thank you so much, sir. And I know there'll be questions lined up. I believe the ambassadors have questions that they will want to ask. Please, if you have any questions, and they request to speak. Or you can send your questions via the chat usage section. Is anyone speaking?
I can hear you.
Okay, Jonathan.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon. Sorry, good evening rather. Good evening, sir. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for this wonderful station. There's so much to learn at the same time. We're getting so many informations also at the same time.
If you come up with a pressure group and you end up joining a particular political party just for your own selfish interest. So the thing is, we need to be a lot more serious. We need to be honest to look at it as doing it doing it for humanity, not for our own selves. Don't just look at what they will give you. So we need to read and checkmate them. That's the best thing to do. Each and every one of us can be an activist, whereby you just pick a topic, read, hammer in it, and come up with a particular, maybe a some, be it a social media or you go to media houses. We tell them this is what is happening. We know what is happening, and we need to be like constantly doing it. Not just if you do this today, then tomorrow you said you're done. These people will not change. So we are also change ourselves because these people are from us. They are from us, and we can also be a part of. We are turning maybe to be just like them. Honest, we need to change our mind. If you're doing change to humanity for maybe a daily 2,000 kids, so you need to humanity and your children. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, Jonathan. And thank you, Abdul, for the contribution. Is there another question? Do you have any other question before we wrap up today's meeting? Okay. I think there's no more question. We all understood what was taught today. Let's believe that. So for attendance, we will be posting our attendance shortly. And just want to remind us what we'll be having on Monday. On Monday, which is the 31st of March, we'll be introducing a blockchain, right? Looking at the introduction to blockchain, if you are new to blockchain, Web3, if you are new to digital wallets, smart contracts, decentralization, tokens, on Monday we'll be here to join an expert in the field. Also looking at the role of blockchain beyond cryptocurrency, right? You see reward use cases where blockchain can be used to have a positive impact even on the planet, right? So blockchain is not about crypto and what if for mining, right? You can see technology has been effective in fighting against climate change. So on Monday, we'll be having an expert in the field that will be introducing what is blockchain, how to get involved in the tech industry, and how these technologies can help, how we can leverage the technologies towards climate action and adaptation. So it will be happening here on Monday, 3 o'clock GMT +1, as usual. So I just want to take some time to appreciate our speaker. Thank you so much, sir, for honoring our invitation, right? Even though you have a couple of emergencies, you be able to show up today. I'm very, very honored, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. So, like saying that, I think that is all we have for you guys today. And we'll be giving out assignment today for this lesson 4. I believe everybody understands. Nobody asks questions, right? So the attendance will be the assignment will be sharing the assignments on our Twitter page. Sorry, on our WhatsApp group. So